We're about to press on with our first speaker keynote of this inaugural World Football Summit Asia. And we're going to focus on one league in particular. This speaker featured in the previous roundtable as well. And it is one of the most competitive leagues in Europe, of that there is no doubt. And certainly it has provided some of the great stories over the years. And of course, you'll remember in 2013, there was an all-German Champions League final at Wembley between Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund. It's produced some of the greatest managers that we've seen in modern times. Of course, Jurgen Klopp, who is now with Liverpool, preparing for a Champions League semi-final first leg against Barcelona at the Camp Nou. So the Bundesliga has a lot to offer, of that there is no doubt. Now, 7 years ago, they opened an office just down the road from here in Singapore. It was a significant step. It shows how progressive and forward-thinking they are as an organization, and they firmly believe that internationalization is achievable shoulder to shoulder with all their clubs, and not just the two biggest ones, Bayern and Dortmund. There is a clear focus on content formats to engage their audience, on digital, especially in a very dynamic entertainment market, in a bid to best serve their fans, and especially the new and emerging Generation Z. To hear how they've successfully built their brand and their business here and what their future plans are. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, show your appreciation for the CEO of Bundesliga, Robert Klein.
Good morning again. It's me. I'm sorry. You've just had about 15, 20 minutes, half an hour of me. I've just got 10 minutes for a keynote, and I wanted to talk a little bit specifically about what we're going to be doing in Asia. And I will start, hopefully, with a short video, which is showing on here, but not here.
This is football as it's meant to be. Packed stadiums, an incredible...
Oh, you can see it. It's just not here. All right. Then let me go back. Excuse me for that. Okay, let me start again. So I'm glad you can see it. I thought it was also going to play here. One of the questions that I want to ask is, out of all the leagues that are playing in Asia, which ones do you think, or which league do you think has got the most Asian players over the last 20 years? Now, hopefully, we will be able to answer this question. I'm going to go back once more. There we go. Hopefully it's now playing.
The Bundesliga, a league that has it all. Stars, goals, entertainment, joy, victories, defeats, skills, celebrations. This is football as it's meant to be. Packed stadiums, an incredible atmosphere, every weekend, every match day. A league where fans are king, in the stands, in front of the TV, tablet, mobile. Broadcasted all over the world on 5 continents in 211 countries. A league that is home to international world-class players. And a hotbed for Asian stars. More than 120 Asian players in Bundesliga history. Title winners.
German champion Shinji Kagawa.
Record holders.
Shabon Khan, the fans simply love him.
From trailblazing pioneers
Ali Dai
and today's heroes
Amit Makoto Haseda
to the stars of tomorrow.
A first taste of Bundesliga action for Jong Woo-young.
With over 4,000 appearances and 500 goals collectively, Asian players have made their mark in the Bundesliga, more than in any other league. One continent, one passion, one league. The Bundesliga, home to Asian players.
So it was with great joy when we started looking into the history of our connection with Asia that we found out this fantastic stat. We have a great legacy of Asian players in the Bundesliga. In 1977, we had our first player with Vidyathlakul. And over the last 20 years, we have continued to have players from all across the continent. And the importance of that is when, as I was referring to before, you're looking to build a brand, when you're looking to build any business, that's all fine. But in the end, it's about the emotional connection. And we have a history, and it continues to this day. And it's something that when you're looking for a positioning, when you're looking to work with partners across the board, it plays into the value that you can bring, without a doubt. But the other thing is that anyone who knows about the Bundesliga has its superstars, it has its big brands, but it also has a big focus on youth. And one of the things that we firmly believe, and one of the angles of conversations that we have with media partners, all the partners that we have, which include talking with clubs and federations in different countries, is looking at how we can build the talent funnel the other way around. We want to have fans in Malaysia, for example, but we also want Malaysian players or Malaysian coaches or Malaysian youth to come to the Bundesliga. And the reason why that is realistic is because of the way the league is set up, because of its focus on youth, and as it's proven, this connection to Asian players over the last 20 years. So if we look at it just in terms of numbers, to answer the question that I was talking about at the beginning, these are stats just from the last 20 years, and across all of the areas which are component in terms of the importance, from players to appearances and goals, for the most part, if you add up all the other leagues, the other top 4 European leagues, they then pretty much get to the Bundesliga level in terms of Asian players, Asian appearances, which are 3,000, 4,000 over the last 20 years is a huge amount, but also the goals scored, the goals that we can then create content with, even today, with the archive that we have, to then share those stories with the upcoming next generation, and to show them that there is clearly a path to the Bundesliga, and why we believe that we are the Asian league for the players and for fans. All of that then is just a point of view, and is only worthwhile and only has any real value if you can then action on it. And the reason why we believe we can is referred to in this slide, which is the unique setup. Many of you may know, and others maybe not, the German Bundesliga is the only league that controls all of its production from A to Z. The competition on the right point sits at the top. If you look at the map, or rather the chart here, the DFL is the German Football League, Deutsche Fußballliga, and runs the competitions, the rights, the licensing, but also the investment plans that we have in youth. Just to give you as a stat, over the last 10 years, the German league and clubs have invested over 1.4 billion in youth development. In 2005, we set up the basic signal and TV production company called Sportscast. Sportscast is arguably the most advanced and the most experienced TV production when it comes to football specifically. They have produced over 8,000 matches. They have been involved in a number of World Cups to bring in their expertise. And the importance of that is, again, when we are talking about an Asian approach, it's the quality level of the product that you're getting on the live signal basis. And any innovation that's coming along, I can almost guarantee you, whether it's been some TV webcam or spider cam technology a few years ago, to video assistant referee in the more recent years, that will have been introduced first by the German Football League. Then, in the second bottom corner here, you've got DFL Digital Sports. If Sportscast, which was set up in 2005, is for the live TV production, DFL Digital Sports, as the name suggests, is all about the emotion, all about the excitement. They create the digital formats for our own and operated platforms, but more importantly, and specifically when we're going to territories like Asia or any part of the world, it's localized storytelling and customized storytelling. so that we are able to speak to the fan in the language that they understand, not just from a language perspective, but also from what they actually want. We have currently initiated, and we have a new technology which at the end of a match allows me to go in and I can actually get immediate highlights 90 seconds after the game, focusing just on one player, on specific actions for the club that I care about. And I think, and I don't doubt going forward in the future, everyone is going to want a customized approach in terms of the data they're receiving, in terms of the content they're receiving, and also in terms of the language type that they're receiving it. The ability to listen to a partner and a request that we might be getting in Thailand or in Malaysia or in India, for example, and having an understanding that someone actually needs this content format or is specifically interested in this, and then be able to turn that round within a short time frame is of great value to us. On the other side here is SportX Solutions. SportX Solutions is match data and sports technology. We control the match data that is coming out of every single match and also historically. It's important for, of course, our B2B partners in terms of broadcast and the storytelling you can do through that, but also for the end fan. More and more, and we talked about it in the last session, we are using data points, artificial intelligence to create products for a customized solution. And the only way that you can be at the avant-garde of doing that is by having a company that is working day in, day out to look at what technologies are available out there, and also what are the requirements and the new innovations that are going. And if you tie this all up, then this is where we come in, Bundesliga International, which is then the fifth company under the DFL. There's another one that takes care of our travel, but we haven't put in here because there's not so much for commercial reasons. Global marketing and partnerships, basically building the brand internationally outside of Germany, so that every key region, such as Asia, gets a dedicated team and generally office. So in Asia, as we've already spoken about, we have India in terms of a partnership. We have the head office in Singapore, and we've opened up just in China. We are then able to engage day in, day out, learn critically about our fan base, about our partner base, about the football interest, about where the numbers are, and then translate what the business wants and bring this back internally to the unique setup that we have to produce content, activations, and also opportunities to the clubs that we will also bring to them if they are not present internationally. So to wrap up, I just wanted to give a few examples of what this can look like, so that there's a little bit of meat on the bone as well. Localized storytelling. Why is that important? Because, as we've spoken about before, the fans here, we're talking about in Japan, will want to know specifically about what is Hasebe doing. He's basically a national hero. He's a national team player. We have access to him through the clubs and through Eintracht Frankfurt. So we are able, and we should be making a plan practically week in, week out, within reason, because if you go to a player too often, sometimes they say, look, no, I haven't got time. But generally speaking, players and clubs are absolutely willing and understand the necessity to be able to bring content for your fan base outside. Another point, digital content solutions. We're now creating digital formats. There's not enough to just have the live game, a pre-show, a post-show. That'll do probably for the Saturday. But in Asia, we have different time zones, we have different languages, and we have a different fan base in different countries. So creating digital formats, as one would expect, which will allow us to tell the narrative of the story week in, week out, again, in different manners, allows us to get a huge base. An example that we've had, we created a content story piece, which again told this, the arc and the excitement of going from being an amateur and the chance to play in the Bundesliga. And we used different Asian stars that we had from the last 20 years to tell the story. and we created in different languages in Thailand, in Vietnam, and also in Japan. And the reach was incredible. If I take the one in Japan, in the space of 3 weeks, we had interactions with 13.5 million video views, and more importantly, not were people just viewing it, but they were also engaging with it, forwarding it, liking it, which means that the content really resonated with them, and proved to us that the digital content solutions approach is one that makes sense. Club journeys and players access is something also that we referred to before. We work day in, day out with our clubs, literally, to talk about the findings that we have, to talk about the potential that we encounter when we are traveling and when our teams are on the ground. And in the end, the fans, they want Bayern Munich, they want Dortmund, they want Hoffenheim, they want Frankfurt, they want the teams to come along, and they want there to see the players. And just to give you a statistic, we are building that again, year in, year out. In the last 12 months, just within Asia, we've had over 300 activities. 300 activities is literally, on a calendar, literally one a day. It sounds like a lot, but in the end, when you're talking about Asia, it's just the beginning. What we would like to have is in our key markets, activities probably on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. And an activity can be something quite big, such as a public viewing of a major event, or it could be something a little bit easier to deliver, which is the digital content solutions, so that we've got campaigns going out reminding our fans either of upcoming games, extraordinary lifestyle stories, that kind of thing. Local on the ground activities. The difference between here from the club journeys and player access is that the club journeys and player access are done by the clubs for the most part, and is an ability here. We talk about on-the-ground activities that the Bundesliga International works on. In the last 5 months, we've had 3 tours that I can think of at the moment. This here you're seeing is Oliver Kahn, who did a tour in Thailand, but actually also did one in Japan recently. Jürgen Klinsmann was in China last week, also with a Bundesliga experience. A Bundesliga experience, just to explain that a bit, is when we arrive and we create over the space of 5 days, always focused around our product, which is a live match viewing. We bring a legend of ours, and the legend will then interact with the local community. We'll always have a press conference so that we are able to tell our story, create some media value, and hopefully also engage in some kind of football activity in terms of some kind of grassroots and so on. And not to forget, eSport challenges. Everybody's talking about eSport, and everyone's wondering how they're going to make money from it, to be very honest. But what we know for a fact is that the gamers are out there, they are watching by the millions. And we're proud that in 2012, we were the first league to set up a virtual e-football league. This was an online basis. And in 2019, so just in January of this year, we were the first league as well to set up a professional e-football competition. What that means is that we had 22 of our 36 clubs participated in an eSports, or rather an e-football competition with their professional teams. So as you will know, a lot of clubs these days hire professional e-gamers, and the impact is absolutely massive. So from an audience perspective, we are immediately gaining it. And specifically in Asia, what we did is we had a cross-territory competition. We had in 10 territories an eSports qualifying competition, in India as well. And we recently hosted, just in Malaysia here, with Astro, our partner, we hosted the finals of each of the regional online competitions, brought their finalists here, and then we had an offline competition. This was broadcast on Fox Sports. It was broadcast on the Egg Network as well, Astro's platform. Key territories, of which Malaysia absolutely is one. And I will be here for the next, well, certainly for the rest of today, So if any of you want to come and talk about business opportunities and working with the Bundesliga, it would be most welcome. Thank you very much.